Tonight we've got a fantastic lineup, starting with Pastor Darrell Scott. Pastor Scott, as you know, he's joined us here before. He's pastor of the New Spirit Revival Center. He served as on the National Diversity Coalition for Trump. He's the author of Nothing to Lose, and perhaps most importantly, he's the host of Smackdown with Pastor Darrell Scott. It airs on Saturdays at 7 p.m. Eastern here on Real America's Voice. So, Pastor, I got to ask you, Joe Biden came in, he called for unity, but started with impeachment. He said that it was up to all Americans, but he kept Americans away from his inauguration with fences and barbed wire. He started by killing 11,000 jobs by killing the Keystone XL pipeline. Quite a start. What do you think, Pastor?
Listen, Joe right now is doing what Joe do. 47 years up there. And listen, here we are. Joe started off with a bang. He signed so many executive orders, I can't keep track of them. I mean, he's not going through Congress. He's not going through Senate. I'm
Nope.
Joe out here. I do what I want to do. What does Joe do? First thing he does, he allows transgenders to compete in women's sports so that the ex-men that are now women can go in women's bathrooms and have an unfair physical advantage over women. Then he relaxed any restrictions on abortioners. Then Joe turned around, he's offered Mexico $4 billion to do a study as to why migrants are trying to sneak into the United States. Now, do you think actually that somebody's going to do a study with their $4 billion, or whoever gets that check is going to cut it up with whoever they cut it up with? Then they asked Joe about COVID. And what did Joe say? Listen, there's nothing we can do to stop the trajectory. It's going to keep on doing what it's been doing. In other words, I don't have a plan.
Right.
Joe issued a mask mandate, which Joe immediately broke. You know what Joe is saying? Don't do what I do what I tell you to do.
Yeah.
So Joe's off to a rousing start, but most of all, the biggest transgression so far is this. Joe still has not invited Black Lives Matter to the table for a seat. So, hey.
It's crazy. You know, Pastor Scott, you guys are having so much fun on SmackDown, and you've got insight, you've got great guests, you're bringing people together. I want to make sure that all of our viewers get a chance to see what you're doing. You're having fun, you're making waves. Let me play just a piece of last weekend's show here. Go ahead and roll that, guys.
Hey, listen, there's been a lot going on this week. So what we're going to do right now on SmackDown is we're going to have a chronological recap of this week's events. It started out last Monday. Last Monday, even though a lot of people don't know about it, last Monday there was another Black Lives Matter riot in New York City. The report said that there were dozens arrested. And, Black Lives Matter was like, hey, wait a minute, arrested? What happened to our black immunity? What happened to the National Police stand-down order? But they don't realize the party is over and the mural on the street is gone. Come on, man.
Look, I don't know what they thought, that somehow or another they would be able to burn and pillage and just run with reckless abandon. It's because they were given the stand-down orders, but now the election is over. So it's what the textbooks call useful idiots are no longer being used anymore because they don't need them anymore, and they're leaving them at the dance, so to speak.
All right, then Tuesday. On Tuesday, President Donald J. Trump, in his final act of racism as President of the United States, he signed pardons for several high-profile black and some no-profile black people as well. Lil Wayne, Kodak Black, Kwame Kilpatrick, a Democrat, a black Democrat from Michigan, and Michael Harris, former CEO of Def Jam. In his final act of racism, he signed pardons and sentence commutations for those and a number of other blacks. And he also signed a pardon for our very own Steve Bannon, which the stuff that was against him was a bunch of garbage anyway.
It's like we've said 1,000 times. Somebody needs to teach this Grand Wizard of the Klan some racism lessons because it seems like the more things he does, it shows that all of it was just a made-up sham manufactured in the media like we've always known, because a true racist would have never pardoned these individuals. In fact, I'm happy for some of them.
And you know what? Let me tell you something a little funny. I can throw some little funny anecdotes. One day I was at home, and Jared called me, and he said, do you know who Lil Wayne is? I said, yeah, do you? I'm like, Jared, come on, man. You don't know who Lil Wayne is? Because he said, well, he wants to come out and endorse the boss. Do you think that'd be a good endorsement? I said, heck yeah, that'd be a good endorsement. But I couldn't fault Jared for not knowing who Lil Wayne was, because if they called me asking about some country western singers or something, I wouldn't know who they were. Okay, then Wednesday, here we go. The president said farewell. He had his farewell address from Andrews Air Force Base. He went there from the White House on Marine One, and then he took Air Force One down to Palm Beach, where he received a hero's welcome. Now, let me give you a little backstory behind that. Usually, you know, the president is supposed to wait until after the inauguration, and then he flies off on Marine One, and we don't know where he's going from there and all that. But President Trump said, bump that. You know, one thing you can't do, you can never get that guy. You never can get him. He's too sharp. He knew that once you say that oath of office, once you transfer the power, you are no longer president, and you don't have the authority to command a ride on Air Force One or Marine One or anything like that. He would have had to ask permission from Joe Biden for the ride on Marine One. Yeah, no, President Trump ain't asking nobody for permission for nothing. No, he didn't want to have to ask permission, and I don't blame him, because he didn't want Joe to be in the position to tell him no to grandstand. Come on, help me, man.
It's 5D chess that he always plays. He's always ahead of these lefties because they don't get it. And for certain, as petty as they are, he would have probably told him no, or something silly like that would have gone off. But I'm glad the president was way ahead of them. And he went out, as we say, like a G that
like
he is.
A G.
he went out like a G. And then Biden had to resort to some other things. But the bottom line.
But wait a minute, hold on. What did Biden do? Biden came in how? On a private
plane.
Mr. Climate Change
that's
proponent advocate Biden? Isn't private plane travel one of the worst offenders when it comes to climate change?
Right.
All right, so that's from SmackDown. Everybody can see why I'm a huge fan of the show. So, Pastor Scott, we got Joe Biden. He stands up in front of the Lincoln Memorial. He just signed an executive order saying that if you showed up to the Lincoln Memorial without a mask, you'd be in violation. But he doesn't need to wear one. There's this tremendous dissonance between rhetoric coming out of Joe Biden and the reality that they're showing. What do you make of this?
Well, first of all, I don't even think Joe remembered that he signed an order against that. Think about this. Joe signed about 3 orders, and he had a whole stack. He signed about 3 and was out of gas. He was like, I'm not doing it anymore. And, you know, when they questioned him about something, he said, come on, man, give me a break. And he got up. But, you know, that's par for the course for Joe and the Democrats. It's a double standard. There's one standard for the American public. There's another standard for the Democratic Party. And Joe illustrated it very succinctly. And there are a lot of people right now that have buyer's remorse, especially a number of unions that supported him.
Pastor Scott, the pipe fitters union. The pipe fitters union endorsed Joe Biden, and the first thing he did when he got into office was he killed the Keystone XL pipeline, killed off 11,000 jobs. What do you make of this?
Yeah, he killed 11,000 jobs, 11,000 actual jobs, another 60 or 70,000 potential jobs.
Right.
Justin Trudeau is standing there looking like a fool because he hurt Canada too. And Justin kissed up to him while you know, disrespecting President Trump, and now he's standing there looking stupid. And there are a lot of people, once again, that have buyer's remorse, that are saying, I wish I had not have voted for Joe Biden, because he got him, and he got him good.
Yeah, he most certainly did. And I think, you know, there was some talk, some people thought, well, you know, maybe Joe Biden's going to be a centrist when he's in office. It certainly looks to me like he came right out of the gate, and it's very clear that the left wing of that party is pushing a big part of Joe Biden's agenda. I mean, this was a leftist agenda. Paris Climate Accords, killing the Keystone XL pipeline. To me, it looks like it's pretty clear who's in charge there.
And now look, we're already being insulted. ISIS is back out. Oh, they're like, Biden's elected, good. They came sneaking back out the caves they were hiding in. China's flying warships over Taiwan now. They're testing the waters because they knew Obama was soft, and they're going to see if Biden is soft as well. And what's the worst thing that suburban housewives and a number of others that didn't vote for Trump, the worst thing they can say is, we didn't like his tweets. You didn't like his tweets. Don't read them. Don't look at it.
Right.
Because now they're seeing that, America is dangerous right now. This entire globalist agenda is resurfacing. And here's what people don't understand about globalism. Globalism endeavors to level the playing field across the entire planet and make all of the countries, so to speak, equal. But in doing so, globalism seeks to reduce America. Yep. But the reduction of America does not result in the elevation of other countries.
Correct.
All it does is make the entire world go down, because as America goes, so goes the world. He's trying to reduce us to the levels of a third world country. I don't know what's on that man's mind. Whatever they're telling him to do in that earpiece, that's what he's doing. I mean, you saw what he did.
Yes.
He was walking along. The earpiece was telling him, turn left, Joe. Joe, turn right,
He's
Joe.
turning left,
And
turning
salute
right.
to Marines, Joe. And when they said turn left, Joe,
Pastor
turn
Scott,
left,
we're coming,
turn right.
we're coming
Salute
right
Marines.
we're coming right up against the break. But folks, that's Pastor Darrell Scott. He's the host of SmackDown. It airs on Saturdays at 7 p.m. Eastern right here on Real America's Voice. Tune in this Saturday. We'll be right back with more on Actionable Intelligence.